accept this rose.
On Monday night's episode of The Bachelor, Colton Underwood headed to hometowns. Oh, but he sent a front runner home. The Bachelor eliminated Kaylyn Miller-Keys after meeting her parents, after getting her dad's blessing, after she told him, "I love you." So to break down Monday night's episode, we have Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise alum and fan favorite Kristina Schulman in the studio. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
And because this is Roses and Rosé Live, we have a little Rosé Bellini drink. Cheers.
Cheers.
We gotta take a drink after that elimination. I do try to find a way to work a cocktail into my job. So Kristina, let's talk through it. I want to get all your thoughts because you and I were kind of texting last week and you were like, I have a lot of thoughts.
I did say that.
Overall, your feelings on this season. Liking it, not liking it, how do you think Colton's doing?
Colton's doing great. You know, as well as he could be doing. This season, I didn't have many expectations, to be honest. I like to watch The Bachelor, it's enjoyable. But honestly, this season has been pretty enjoyable. Just because it's so different from every other season, I feel like. Just given the girls and how old they are and how the drama unfolds and what the drama is about and how Colton's handling it. So
he has been really present, I think. I was talking to Ben Higgins about this, present in all of these relationships with the women. Like, he's giving them his all. He's so focused. Asked every single dad for the blessing at hometowns. Got it in 3 of the 4 cases, but we'll get into that. So we just saw Kaylyn get sent home. He went to her hometown in Virginia. Although there's been some talk about this online because she was introduced as Miss North Carolina on this season. To clarify to everyone, I think basically she spent some time in North Carolina so she could enter the pageant there. We went to Virginia. I know, is that surprising to you?
yeah, I kind of heard that and I was like, what?
I think that's fairly common, not that I'm super familiar, but in the pageant world that maybe you might, I don't know, use.
You have to live.
Yeah, I don't know what the requirements are, but she was Miss North Carolina, but now we're back in Virginia. So they take a little tour of the town, then Colton meets the parents, and by the way, I have to say, Kaylyn's dad, oh my gosh, I was in tears over this meeting.
He has such a big heart.
He had such a big heart. They were so sweet. And Kaylyn was all in with Colton. She kept saying that she fully believed they were going to get married, that she knew he was the one, which sort of set my Bachelor watcher alarm bells going off because I'm like, oh God, are we getting set up for a serious heartbreak here?
I have many thoughts about all of that.
What do you
Just
think?
honestly, maybe, I don't know if I'm fasting forward a little bit, but when she got sent home, and the first thing she said to Cassie, I mean, she loves her, and she said, get engaged. And to me, just that did not sit well with me as a viewer.
Interesting. Here it is. I love you. Bye, friend. Get engaged.
Get engaged.
What did it make you think?
I just think you just got your heart broken by a guy you envision your future with, and kids, dogs, all of that, and you tell a friend, hey, get engaged.
Well, what did it make you think about her motivations or her thoughts? Why would she say that? What was going on?
For me, from last week, it just didn't sit well with me, like the fight they had, what is it, Tayshia and Kaylyn, and that just kind of confirmed for me just a little bit more that what is she in it for?
You have questions about why
I
Kaylyn
definitely
was
have.
there.
Yes. Okay.
It was interesting to me that she didn't say goodbye at all to the other women.
Right.
Right. But you know what? Talk a little bit about what that is like in terms of the dynamic of, like, because you make friends with the other women.
Sure.
But then everybody has feelings for this one guy. I mean, I keep joking, like, Kaylyn and Cassie are so close, they're like sister wives with Colton. But what is that dynamic like? How do you separate those feelings of your feelings for the lead, but your feelings for your female friends who you've built?
So I feel like I've given it some thought, and for me it was a little bit different. Yes, I like Nick, but I really enjoyed my environment in the Bachelor Mansion with the girlfriends and the producers, and I'd say, looking back now, I was probably more sad leaving them, just the dynamic place I was in. But I still don't see myself going all the way to the end and just, hey, Vanessa, I hope you get engaged. It's just like, well, hold on, I'm so in love with this guy. Or let's say even Paradise, if it was at the end. I just don't see falling so in love with someone and envisioning a future. You're giving it your all and telling someone else, like, go ahead, get engaged.
Interesting. So why do you think she said get engaged?
Beats me.
Well, it's been, I mean, Kaylyn and Cassie's motives both have been questioned by the other women in the past couple of episodes. There was this alleged conversation they had talking about becoming the Bachelorette. So if you put it in that mindset, it would make me wonder, like, well, is she saying get engaged because she's hoping to look good in her exit to maybe become the Bachelorette? Like, that's what I would, if what those women were saying was true about Kaylyn's motives, then that's what that makes me think.
I did give some thought about, I was thinking a lot. This season really took it out of me.
Have been deep.
They have been, and I said, how am I so invested in this season? But did the conversation happen after Cassie had her one-on-one? I can't recall.
They haven't said when
after her one-on-one with
alleged
Colton.
conversation.
Okay, so I wonder, it makes me wonder, was Cassie just a bystander and she was just listening to Kaylyn talk and the girls overheard? I do see the genuine connection between Cassie and Colton, and I think it's evident on the screen, and I like them too as a pair, although that leads me to a whole new place of she didn't validating his feelings.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that. Well, I have a question though about this conversation, because in the past couple episodes, the other women have talked about this alleged convo between Kaylyn and Cassie on a bus. Are you not filmed on buses and vans and in transport? Do you not have mics on? Like, I want to roll the tape on this conversation.
So, no, I don't remember being mic'd, but there are sometimes phones. Producers have their phones videotaping you, whether you're flying or on the bus. I doubt they'll be sitting here and just like videotaping you on the bus going somewhere.
It makes me wonder, because there was another time, and I'm blanking on it now, where there was a conversation in a van. It might have been with Crystal, I can't remember. But there was a conversation in a van, and everyone was saying like, well, this happened in the van. I'm like, roll the tape on the van conversation, but there's no tape.
If they can put a GoPro on a surfboard, they can put a GoPro in a van.
In a van. Put a camera in the van. Although, you know, then it kind of stirs up the drama, because everyone's like, who's really telling the truth about what was said? Okay, so, but are there any other times when you're not filmed? When are you not filmed on the show?
When you're showering?
When you're showering, that's about it? What
or
about
sleeping.
Okay, so in the bedrooms, I've wondered this, because, like, say that you're, I don't know, having a sleepover when you're young or sharing a hotel room with a friend. Like, that's kind of when some of my deepest conversations would happen, when we're, like, laying and falling asleep and, like, I'm talking to my friends. So I mean, do they tell you, are there mics in the bedrooms? Like, would those late night convos be picked up and recorded?
Oh my goodness, we went through so much. Like on my season, we were like scoping the room out for mics or cameras, and we're like, why is this painting covered in case they come in or whatnot? So as far as I know, there weren't any cameras or mics in the hotel rooms, because you would have a dark day where you spend some time just like traveling. Yeah. And as far as I know now, there weren't any.
What about at the mansion?
Every single corner is, you have like 4 sound men standing and just like watching you and listening to you, and cameras here, here, here. So the mansion is the worst place to have a private conversation.
Okay, I wonder too, because an actual family lives in that mansion. I wonder, it must take so much time, or they're just like, we promise we're shutting all the cameras down when production leaves.
I'm glad it didn't get burned down.
Oh my God. At any given moment, then, how many crew members are like standing around you if you're just in the mansion?
So it depends. If there's a date going on, majority go on the date. They just need every angle, every conversation, and in the mansion, there's still a couple. Okay. But the majority of the crew goes on the date.
Interesting. Okay, well, we don't know if we'll ever get the truth about this conversation, but let's talk about Hanna G. We had her hometown in Alabama. She and Colton went and did this etiquette class, and of course, he met her parents. This seemed to me just all very even. It's like Colton and Hanna G seem solid. They have good chemistry. I'm sort of wondering, will there be any issue or drama at any point with them? Like, she told him she was falling in love with him. He said he was falling in love with her back. So I don't know, it's like there's no, I sort of feel like at the end of the day, if he doesn't pick Hanna G, maybe his only explanation would be, I just had stronger feelings for someone else, or I had, you know, a more of a gut feeling towards somebody else, because it's like there's nothing wrong with the two of them.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah. And I do like their dynamic a little bit, but I wonder is she challenging him enough?
Interesting.
And then that
sometimes
brings us,
we need that drama, or we're bored.
Sure, a lifetime, yes. I would know.
So that's your question, is Hanna G questioning and challenging him enough? And do you think that's maybe?
I think she's just falling in love. Yeah. And from the get-go, you don't need the drama. You don't need the chase. I mean, she's falling, and I think she's letting herself like just free fall. And the family is approving of her and him. I mean, brings to Tasha and all the challenges she's bringing.
Yeah, I mean, it's low drama for Hanna G, period, because she hasn't had any issues with the other women, which also makes me wonder, I mean, say that Hanna G isn't chosen by Colton at the end. I kind of wonder, like, is she a good candidate for Bachelorette? Because on the one hand, she's beautiful and sweet and, you know, she is open about her feelings, but on the other hand, it's just no drama, and the show needs drama.
Yes, I completely agree. That's probably why I don't have too much to say, because all I see is a beautiful girl on the
She's
screen.
a beautiful girl. Cheers to Hanna G.
Easy.
She's just easy.
Yes.
They even did well in the etiquette class.
Great.
Let's talk about Tasha. The big drama of the Tasha date was just that they, you know, jumped out of a plane. And Colton tweeted, which I thought was funny. He said, I don't know how insurance approved this. They go skydiving. Colton makes this funny little prayer about how he hopes he doesn't want to die a virgin, so please God don't let him die a virgin. That was funny. And then he meets Tasha's parents. Tasha's dad a little bit harder on him, but at the end he does give Colton the blessing. What did you think of Tasha's family?
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I love this whole hometown.
Yeah, why?
Just because, first of all, Tasha just comes off a little bit more mature. It's hard not to compare the final four. And her dad, I love him. I love him. He's full of wisdom, and my favorite one, don't microwave.
He said, don't microwave
don't microwave relationships. Yes.
An excellent takeaway. You got to slow cook the relationship.
But then again, we're on The Bachelor.
Well,
so
everything's microwaved. It's just set on fire to cook it. Yeah.
I loved how it started off, just skydiving. In a way, she's still challenging. Whenever I'm watching their interactions, I feel like Tasha is more of a lead. She's always telling Colton like where she stands, what she wants, what she expects, and then I just find Colton sitting there and agreeing, like nodding, and I'm like, okay.
So then, like you said, it's tough at this point to not compare the relationships, even though they're different. When you're looking at, we've talked at Tasha and Hanna G, and we'll get into Cassie. Who do you see if you had to pick between those two, Colton choosing based on what you're seeing?
My own opinion in this case, don't hate me, America, but I think Hanna G he would pick.
Yeah, why?
Just because I think Tasha and Colton are on different levels. They have the chemistry, and I absolutely love their cooking date, but
I feel like sometimes I do think that it leans more towards chemistry. Is that what you're about to say? Like, because him and Hanna G just can't stop making out with each other.
Sure, but you need a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, chemistry is great to have from the beginning, but it's probably your intellectual conversations or whatever you have will make your relationship last a life.
Interesting. I also wonder with Tasha and Colton, they've had these dates. Their dates have been like very normal dates, like cooking, which kind of helps you see your life outside of the show with someone. And then these extreme bonding dates where you nearly die, bungee jumping and skydiving. I'm like, well, of course they're close. They've survived together.
I did read up that if you do something like exciting and something that rushes your adrenaline, I don't even know if I said that right.
Yeah.
But it brings people closer together.
Okay, well, they are close.
So if you have to experience something that's...
All right, let's talk about Cassie. Cassie's one-on-one in her hometown is surfing in California, Huntington Beach. And then we meet Cassie's... Colton's a horrible surfer, by the way. But look at those GoPros. Could have had him in the van. They're on a surfboard, like you said. They're waterproof. And then Colton meets Cassie's parents. And man, oh man, they were excited to see her. And the dad was a tough cookie. He said of Colton, and I quote, well, he's a guy.
Dad is a realist.
He was not messing around. Let's take a listen. Colton asked every single dad for the blessing to propose to their daughters. And here's what Cassie's dad had to say, the one guy who said nope.
I think that a lifelong commitment that's big.
Yeah.
And shouldn't be taken at all lightly.
No.
Because it is forever, in my opinion. And too often it's, I think, done without enough thought. So I feel like as far as the hand in marriage, that would be a premature blessing. So is that?
Yeah.
I didn't disagree with him. He said premature. I mean, look, I'm also, maybe this is just me. I don't think that the asking for permission thing is necessary anymore. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I think it's lovely, but you know what? I would also say ask both parents if you're gonna do it.
Yes.
Why are we just asking the dad? He doesn't own the daughter. That's just my 2019 rant.
Well,
aren't we past this?
I saw it on Twitter. I like to tweet this, the episodes, have my thoughts on out there. And I believe Colton said he asked their mothers too.
Really? It just
He
didn't make
tweeted-
air.
yes, yes.
Interesting.
I do agree. I don't think you have to ask all four because that puts parents in a position where it's like this could happen. When you're down to final four, are you really that into every single person? Because that's huge to ask parents
I know.
for permission to marry.
So what do you think? Should Colton not have asked all four?
I do believe in asking father's permission, but maybe he shouldn't have because he could have made a phone call. Like,
Could have. Ben Higgins,
even
I
though it's
remember,
not
did
in
that.
person,
Yeah.
even though it's not in person, it still speaks more volumes whenever it's down to two at least,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm going to.
Interesting.
one.
So maybe the dads were even
Yeah.
questioning because they're like, well, why are you asking me now? I remember Ben Higgins called Lauren Bushnell's dad
Okay,
when it
that's
was
what-
later on. Yeah. But, you know, again, it's like Colton's he really is. He's kind of checking all the Bachelor boxes of like being invested and
what-
being present.
That's what kind of sets me back just a little bit in this whole process.
Oh, are you kind of questioning Colton's like,
It's just, are we producing a TV show? Are we falling in love? And I see a connection with him and multiple women. It's just one is stronger. And if you're really going to take it that far as a marriage and an engagement, I just think it should be a little bit more serious. But
well, people
not
talk a lot
discrediting
about
him.
the Bachelor bubble, how you get in this process. Are your emotions super amplified? I mean, you had quite a roller coaster ride with Dean on Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh.
If you and Dean had been interacting in the real world, would you have had the same reactions?
well, the thing is, we did go out into the real world
Afterwards.
Yeah. Well, we had the week break, so
Yes.
he
Oh,
came
during the scandal,
to Kentucky with
production
me.
shutdown, yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, that's me.
That's you, back on Paradise with Dean. Do you guys talk anymore?
Occasionally, just like very sporadic.
Just friendly?
Just
Okay,
friendly.
so
I
no
hope
issues
he's doing
there.
well, and I wish the best for him.
Okay. But in the beginning with you and Dean, did it amplify your feelings more to be on the show at first?
Oh, I was so skeptical. I went into Paradise like not really interested in meeting like one particular person. I was very open, and then I was kind of warned a little bit about there will be this guy who is very charming, and I was like, I want him.
Why don't I just go right for that one? Perfect. Thank you, my genes that are telling me to be attracted to that one. Okay,
Right.
so let's talk a little bit more about Cassie and Colton because
Okay.
we have this other soundbite. Let's take a listen. Cassie was the only woman of the final four who did not tell Colton she was falling in love with him.
I mean, I want to be like 100% confident in anything I'm going to say to you. You know, like that's really important to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like really excited to see like where everything can go. And like I don't want it to be over.
Yeah. I wanted her to say, I'm falling in love with you so bad.
So Colton says he wanted Cassie to say, I'm falling in love with you so badly. All she tells him is she's excited for the future. I, on the one hand, respected her saying, I don't want to tell you something that I don't definitely feel. But on the other hand, oh, man,
My
it's
heart breaks for Colton just a little bit there.
right, the foreshadowing there, because you think, so he ends up sending the one woman who said, I love you, Kaylyn, he sends her home and keeps Cassie, who wouldn't even say, I'm falling in love with you. What does that tell you about Colton's mindsets and his feelings? Because to me, it indicates he feels pretty strongly about Cassie.
It's evident. Like,
Yeah.
he is falling for this girl, and I feel maybe stronger than others. I find it evident. But in any relationship, you just want reassurance that you're making the right decision. And I feel like I understand where Cassie's coming from and that she doesn't want to say something too soon.
Yeah.
But give him some sort of validation, like this, I am on the same page. Like, don't say I'm falling in love with you or any of that sort, but say how strongly you do feel and you want to get there.
Interesting. It made me wonder too, like I do wonder if during hometowns, say somebody isn't giving you the validation you need, maybe you think, well, if we just make it to fantasy suites, we're gonna have that off-camera time. And maybe
What
they
if
can
you
just
don't get it, like Kailyns didn't get it? What if you don't get it?
Oh, yeah, you gotta say it. Okay, so what do you think? Good choice of Colton's to keep Cassie and send Kaylyn home?
For me personally, as a viewer, yes. Just
Yeah.
because he is wanting that love. I think he is chasing that fairy tale ending. And
Interesting. So he's going for it. He's going big.
he's going, and yeah.
You know, well, I mean, if somebody tells you they love you and you don't, maybe you think, well, I don't have a desire to say it back. At least it's clarity. So our final three are Tayshia, Hanna G, and Cassie. I think finally, next week we have 2 episodes back-to-back, as well as the week after that, 2 episodes back-to-back. It's a live finale. And finally, dear God, thank you, we will see Colton jumping the fence into the pitch black. And he just scales it oh so quickly. We have been teased all season long about this. Everyone's in tears. Whew. And a lot of people talking too about how there had been earlier in the season some teasers of what looked like Hanna B coming back during Hometowns, but we did not see that last night.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
Sure.
what did you hear?
The chick was coming back.
I know, interesting.
I'm wondering, what more can you say?
I have to say, it kind of makes me wonder, like, is there a reason they cut that out? You know,
Okay,
we've got to be picking our Bachelorette right now. Are there talks happening? I mean, it makes me wonder. I know that I know that there are probably at this point still a couple of contenders. If you had to pick somebody like Kailyns being sent home, do you think she's the right choice for Bachelorette, or is the jury still out for you?
The jury's still out for me.
Why?
Just everything, how everything kind of unfolded this season, and my gut feeling as a viewer, I just don't fully I'm thinking of the past contestants as the Bachelorettes. They've all been strong leads and but mostly liked for the most part.
Oh, and you feel like Kailyns doesn't have that same...
For me personally, her intentions aren't right, especially how she was defending herself, the choice words she had for Tayshia, and just saying get engaged. Just a lot of things aren't adding up for me. If you're genuine in this process to find someone, I think you need to be, excuse me.
Take a drink, it's okay.
Hold on. I'm getting like nervous talking because I'm not trying to.
Well, I mean, no, I see what you're saying is, look, and here's the thing. We don't necessarily know Kailyns' exact motives, but it is a question of if a lot of fans are questioning your motives, like, does that mean you're not the right choice for Bachelorette already just because people are questioning it? What do you think?
So I think everyone who wants to find love should find love. Doesn't matter how you go about it. It's just be genuine in it. And I'm not trying to completely discredit. For me, honestly, the most genuine moment I saw from Kailyns is with her dad. And that really like tugged on my heartstrings. But when it came to everything else, just falling in love. Maybe she's being more realistic, kind of like, maybe I'm not there, or maybe she is.
Well, she said she was really there with Colton.
Yes,
were you ever in talks for Bachelorette? A lot of fans wanted you.
I know, they still kind of do, and I'm like, why?
Rallying around you. Did those discussions happen?
No, and I've said it before, like, I have not been approached or talked about, so the fact that people still kind of want me, I'm flattered. Thank you, guys.
What about Paradise? Would you do Paradise again?
Probably not.
Why not?
I mean, I am looking for love, but that setting just, I mean, if there's somebody that I'm really wanting to meet and they chose to go, no, I wouldn't chase them. Oh.
Well, you guys had a crazy season of Paradise, too. I mean, everything that you dealt with the scandal and production getting shut down and all that. So it sort of makes me it's like, I want you to go on Paradise again just for you to have, like, a good season of Paradise.
I am looking for love, but it can happen anywhere.
Also wanted to ask you, a lot of people have talked this season about how women have voluntarily left Colton's season over and over.
So many.
Why do you think that's happening?
They probably realize he's not for them. Even though I am kind of a little bit impressed because it's so easy to get in that bubble and just like enjoy the company of the other girls in the house and get close to them, and producers that you kind of want to stay and travel and just ride it out. But the fact that a couple left, I have so much more respect for them.
Interesting. Yeah, that does kind of make you wonder, why wouldn't you just stick around? They must have felt strongly about, no, I should really leave. Colton actually tweeted this, which I really admire him for. He tweeted revealing that he has been going to therapy, saying, on a serious note, I see a therapist regularly. This doesn't make me crazy or delusional. It actually makes me sane. Mental health is health. Talking about how he's a big advocate for it. So this was interesting to me, and again, I appreciate it. I've heard other people talk about how this process is just so crazy that it kind of made them look at themselves. I think Annalise from Ari's season said this, that the whole process kind of made them be very self-reflective and go see a therapist and continue to dive deep into themselves. What was it like for you?
Well, first, I completely agree with Colton. I'm so glad he's doing that, and more contestants If they feel unstable post-show, probably should. Like, nothing against that at all. I personally did it, and maybe I should have, just because it's such a unique process, and it's draining, but it is very reflective. And I don't know, I had my friends to listen to me, but at some point friends are like, how many times can you say this? And it's not like you can go to the next friend. It's a very vulnerable place.
Yeah.
So,
looking back, anything you would have done differently or anything you wish you'd done when you were on the shows?
the thing I told myself is if I go on any of these shows, I have to stay true to myself. And if I'm being completely vulnerable and just open and I'll get hurt, I wasn't expecting to get hurt, but if I do, at least I was true in the process. And I know there's editing and I know all of that, but I know what the conversation was actually about, and I have to remember that and say that in that moment, that's exactly what I meant.
Last
So,
question,
made it
anything you
easier.
think Colton should be doing differently?
I think ultimately the show is about hopefully finding love and long-lasting love. And if he's following his heart, he should trust that and go with it. Doesn't matter the opinion of everyone else, because you can get swayed so many ways. He just needs to anchor himself and go for it.
Anchor himself right over that fence. All right,
Yes.
Kristina Schulman, cheers to you. Guys, if you don't
Cheers,
follow
guys.
Kristina on social media, follow her because she live tweets Bachelor episodes. And you know, if you really want her for Bachelorette, make that campaign happen.
Oh,
Mike
wow.
Fleiss is on Twitter actively, as we saw with the Khloe Kardashian drama. For more live breaking entertainment news, including the latest on The Bachelor, download the ET Live app for the ET phone or Android. You can also watch with Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you, Kristina. ET Live will be right back.